Cool. Well, let's get into the meat of it. Catherine, we'll let you go first since you just jumped in. Did you come with any questions? Let's talk about your homework first. How did homework go working on the book stuff? Oh, and we have to unmute you. So I'll let Haley unmute you.
There we go. Hello, everybody, and thanks for asking, Josh. I have been working on my homework, doing the Convert Kit, trying to start my email list, and also reaching out with research calls to all of my clients, background executive coach for leaders specifically in academia is where most of my clients are and most of my audience. So I've been getting some feedback, and it's still a little bit mixed, narrowing it down a little bit. So my question that I came to the class today with is, how important is to be very, very slimmed down, to really find a narrow focus, like just very clear? I know you need a point of view, but executive coaching, it covers a number of different areas. So I'm just wondering how tiny to be, how narrow to be for a book topic.
So I always go back to the audience and start with the audience that you want to focus on. So who exactly do you really want as your ideal client? Who do you want? Because you want people to read this book and then contact you and sign up for your services, right?
Yes.
And so that ideal client, like if you could just pick and choose 20 or 30 of those people and say, this is the perfect client, what does that look like?
Oh, well, they're really, like, if I could just dream.
Right.
And it's not just pie in the sky, because these actually are my clients, but it's a slice of my broader clients. But the ones that I just really find engaging and rewarding are the women that are in senior leadership positions, and they want to become university presidents or university or college presidents. And so it's like, how do you help them? What do they need to do to up their skills, definitely their executive presence, their resilience. And for many of them, it's the networking, how to speak up, lean in, and so that they can really become noticed and be visible and heard, so that they will get that university appointment that they really want to have. Got
it. So female executive leaders who want a university appointment. Do I kind of have that right?
Yes, but it's like the president or vice president. Most of them only get the president's role. So they're already in the executive suite, but they really want to move up to being president.
Okay. And that's better for you too, because if you help people become president, that looks better than helping them become VP or anything else, right? So, all right. So you're helping female executive leaders who are already in the executive department at a university to move up and become the president of the university. Is that correct?
Yes, and just a little caveat, and not necessarily already in the university. Some of them are like in smaller universities, or some of them are in colleges, and they'd like to move into the university world. So all of them want to move up to the very top position.
Okay. So I find that when I know who I'm writing for or speaking to or communicating with, it becomes a lot easier to know if I've got the niche right or not, because if I have a very clear idea of who I'm writing for, then I can test everything that I write and say, does that person that I've created, that persona, care about this? And if this is important to them, then I should at least consider putting that in the book. If this is something that's interesting to a subset of those people, or maybe they'd kind of be interested in it, but maybe not really, then maybe that's something that I leave out. Is that the way that you're writing the book or thinking about it as you put it together?
Yes, it is. But I guess my questions are, for one thing, that's a pretty tiny market. Like, I mean, very small market. So do I need to just do a little broader or cast the net bigger? And for this particular market, they have a number of things they're working on. Like, they don't just have one thing. Like, it'll be a number of things. Like, it could be like, your top 5 skills or mindsets that you need to prepare for that position or to apply for the position. So I'm wondering if it's best to really just say, hey, just focus on the one thing or a number of things, like if that's narrow enough to say they want to get that seat at the table, the top seat.
Well, you say it's a small market, but I mean, how many clients would it take to change your life and make everything amazing for you?
For me, I think 20 would be my magic number.
Okay, 20. And is that 20 per year? Would you work with them on an ongoing basis? Like, what does an engagement look like?
Generally, it starts out as 9-month engagement, but almost all of them have rolled out into 2 or 3 years.
Okay, got it.
So it's not just once they get the seat, they still want ongoing to be successful and to excel in their role as well. So.
And do you take, I mean, would you work with 20 clients at once? Are you saying like you could have 20 clients at the same time, or 20 clients over what time period?
Probably 20 over 2 years. But what I'd really love to do is get a masterclass going so that they would just have a cohort. So I could get a group of 10 going so that we would learn from each other. So like that, it's not group coaching so much as a masterclass, like a cohort where they can share ideas and challenges. So.
Got it. So maybe 10 per year is what you'd like to sign.
That sounds right.
Okay. So if you need to sign up 10 per year, so 100 would take you through the next 10 years, right? 10 or 11 years. And so when you think about the size of the market, what is the total size of the market? How many women are there who are trying to become presidents of universities?
Oh, I don't know if I have that top number off the top of my head, but I'm in Canada, so it would be hundreds. And I'm certainly trying to reach out into Germany as well. So.
Okay. So hundreds, would you say it's more than 1,000 or less than 1,000?
I'm going to say less than 1,000.
Okay. So it is a pretty small market, right? But then again, you only need to sign up 10 per year. And so if you have the book that speaks to those women, then you're probably going to be the only person, right? I mean, it's not like there's a lot of competition people out there saying, hey, I can coach you to become the president of your university. Or are there?
Not that I haven't found any, no.
Right.
But I haven't looked extensively, but I have not seen anyone. So.
Right. Chances are there are some other coaches out there who could say, oh, I can help you with anything. And so I could help you with that just as well as I can help you with something else. But if you focus on that, then you become the only one. You're really, and that's what we really want, is we want a market of one where people say, oh, I'm going to work with Catherine because she is the only person who provides this service. Nobody else coaches women to become presidents of universities. And if you become that market of one, then they have to work with you. There's really nobody else for them to choose from if they want to feel like they're getting the best. So now, if you had this book, then you could send that out to those people, be a pretty small market. You could literally get a book in probably everybody's hands pretty easily. But I guess the question is because if you're targeting that audience, you can market everything towards them. You can say, here's the book for women who want to become presidents of universities. That's super specific, right? It's a real niche. But like you say, the problem is you can only attract that audience. Nobody else is going to be interested in that book. And so you could focus on some element of what women need to become presidents of universities and say, I'm focusing on this one thing, which is useful for that audience, but it's also useful for all these other audiences out there. And then you can have a much larger market, but then you miss out on being able to zoom in on that one problem and be that market of one. Is there one of those two directions you would prefer to go? I mean, if you take the fear out of it, the fear of not having a large enough market, which direction would you rather go?
Can you just elaborate a little bit on that first option? I don't know if I quite caught the first option.
Well, the first option being that your book is written specifically for that audience and it speaks directly to them and it's all about them. And so the only people who will buy this book are women who want to become university presidents. Nobody else is ever going to look at this book because it's not going to be written for them. It's not going to speak for them. Whereas
the second option?
And the second option being, it could be, I mean, you mentioned the one thing. And so I'm thinking of the book, The One Thing. So there's that book out there called The One Thing, which is all about goal setting and focus and prioritizing and such. Well, that book's just written for anybody and everybody, right? It's a self-help book, essentially. Right. And so it sold millions of copies. However, for every book like that that sells millions of copies, there are a million books that will sell 5 copies and nobody buys them because it is literally written for everybody. And so people look at that book and they say, well, this is just for everybody. It's not for me. It's just kind of for anybody and everybody. And so there's always a trade-off with, if you niche down, you can own that market. If you don't niche down, you have a bigger market, but you might get 0 people reading your book. And so if we try to remove the fear of, oh, this is a small market, and we say, ignore the size of the market. Let's just imagine that there's plenty of business out there for you to get. Would you rather focus your attention and time on those women who want to become university presidents and make the book focused on them because that's your ideal audience? Or would you rather have a book that is more generally accessible to a wider audience because there are other people out there that you want to be working with and serving? There's no right or wrong answer. It's just a matter of which one do you want to go after, because there are different tactics to go after a larger, broader audience versus one that's more niche.
No, I hear you. Yes, I know. And it's getting me some food for thought. And I probably, even though I don't think it's if there really isn't a right or wrong answer, I'd probably go with the second one, because I also work with people like women who also want to like become the board chairs, like just somebody who wants to really accelerate to the top senior position, whether it's a board member or a CEO of a company or the president of a university. I just happen to have a number of clients right now that are in the university and academia world, but I'm not limited to that. I just wondered how much I need to strip it down.
Okay. So another way to ask this question is, if for the next 10 years, you only were able to get these women who want to become university presidents, would you feel like, this is great, but I really want to work with other women, other people too? Or would you feel like, hey, this is great, I'm happy?
No, I would want to broaden it. I wouldn't want to just be in the university world. It just is where I'm happen to be finding myself right now.
Okay, got it. Great. Yeah, so then I would go the broader route. And then the question really is, right, how much do you niche down? And because you can niche down to just women leaders, you can niche down to women leaders who want to be university presidents. So there is that, how far down do I go? And that becomes just a case of combining what you want to do, what really drives you, what excites you, market demand. So where is there a market, an underserved market perhaps, where you can find a space and carve out that niche? And also, this goes back to your genius zone of, what are you best at? Who can you best help based on your background and the experience and skills and talents that you have? Where can you make the biggest mark and serve the best? And when you combine all of that, you'll usually come up with a few ideas and say, well, I could write this book or this book or this book. And if you can come up with a few choices, then you're happy with all of those choices, then that's where we want to be, because then you can figure out which one of those good choices is the best choice.
Got it. And you know what, I like what you just said, like, I know it, I've heard it, like, you know, where's the intersection point of what the market is demanding, what my skills are, but also what excites me. And I think sometimes I overlook that. I just think, okay, what's the market? What's the research? What are their pain points? We ought to focus and find a solution for a pain point. But I think for me to be in this for the long haul and to actually write a book, I got to care about it, and it has to excite me. So I think I need to factor that one in, and that will be my homework. I'll start sorting this one out. Thank you. Great. And I think somebody wanted to say something, but I don't know who it was. So,
well, there are limited choices here. So,
yeah. Hi, Catherine. This is Gene. Can you hear me?
Hi, Gene. Yes, I can.
Yeah, I was just listening to the conversation. I just wanted to add kind of one more food for thought, so to speak. I think there's a difference between who you write the book for and who you market the book to. And I just want to give you a quick example. So I've bought a lot of books, and I've been a part of a lot of programs for people who want to start 6 to 7 figure online businesses. So they teach you how to create an online business, then they teach you how to scale that online business. And essentially, they're writing the books for people who have online businesses, but they want to take it to the next level and reach 6 figures and 7 figures in revenue. The people who buy those books and the people who join the online programs and the master classes are generally the 99% of the people who don't have 6-figure online businesses, who haven't even started an online business. So they write the book for someone who wants to start and run a 7-figure online business. But the people who buy that book and the people who are interested in consuming the content are the people who actually haven't started yet. So you market the book to everyone. So in your case, you would write the book for female executives who want to be presidents of universities, but you would market the book to any female who wants to have a career in academia. And eventually everybody has an aspiration that someday they could become a female president of Georgetown, but they may buy the book before they even get halfway there. They don't need to be a vice president before they buy a book on how to become president. They may want that as they're entering their career in a university. So who you write the book for and who you market it to can be different, can be slightly different. That's the comment that I wanted to make.
Okay, thanks, John.
All right. Thank you, Jean. All right, Jean, you got any questions for me today or homework for me?
I want to tell you briefly an idea that you shared when I read the original version of your workbook and kind of hear more thoughts about that. So you shared an idea of kind of other contributors to your book, where people would help you with certain aspects of your book and then you would give them credit. So I'm kind of in that process now. So I've been creating a lot of content, hosting a lot of events, and the new series of events that I'm creating, I want to offer them an opportunity to be contributors of my book, because I've created a platform where now I'm getting 10 to 20 people who are joining my weekly events. And some of them have opted in to become affiliates when I sell my online program. Now I want to make an offer where they can actually become contributors to my book. And I just wanted to hear your ideas and brainstorm with you. How much contribution would someone have to make before I make them a quote unquote co-author versus what could they contribute for me to just give them a mention and a thanks versus kind of someone who's an official contributor? What are the different tiers of people participating and helping you write your book and you giving them credit for that?
Well, there are no rules about this, so really it's whatever you want. But here's how I went through it with my book. So, because when I did my LinkedIn book, I put these co-authors on the bottom there, right? So, and I think at least one or two of those people. And the way that I went about it is some of the people that I brought in as co-authors were people who could help me write the book. So some of those people aren't really authors, they're editors, but they helped a lot with editing. And I was willing to make them a co-author because of the amount of help that they put into the book, even though they didn't really write the book, but they just helped so much with putting it together and forming it and polishing it up and such. And that was just kind of my way of paying them, in a way, was to put their name on the book. Some of the other people did help a lot with actually writing and coming up with content, creating content. And then some of the people, I got them involved because I wanted their name on the book because they were recognized experts on LinkedIn. And I felt like having their name on the book is going to help me. And so I was trying to get them involved. And one person, I won't say who, but one of those people basically hardly contributed anything to the book, but I wanted them on the book. And so I still put their name on it. Probably they didn't do enough to warrant that. but it still helps me to have their name on the book, even though they didn't put that much into it. And so that's how I was looking at putting the book together. If I were doing it over again, I actually probably would have gotten more co-authors on this book, because there are a number of LinkedIn experts that I wish I would have involved more. I wish I would have quoted them more. I wish they had been involved. And I just wasn't aware of them enough at the time. The nice thing about giving people co-authorship on a book is, and the way I set it up was, I told everybody from the beginning, I said, you're not going to get paid anything for this. You get your name on the book. That's all you get. You can go out and say, hey, I was a co-author on this book. That's what you're getting. That's your payment in essence. And you're going to be inside the book too. And so everybody gets mentioned in the book throughout the book. And so I said, if you're looking to grow your business as a LinkedIn expert, then you'll be able to say, hey, I'm a co-author of this book, and people will see your name in there. But I made sure that I wasn't going to split royalties or anything, because this book's going to make like a couple $100, maybe a couple $1,000 over the first few years. And I didn't want to deal with how I split up a couple $100 between people. So I just made that clear from the beginning that that's all you're getting is the name recognition. But yeah, in retrospect, I should have gone out and probably added 5, 6, 7 more people as co-authors to the book. I think it would have made the book better. And then those people would be out there promoting the book and lending their name and their credibility to the book. And I think it would be that much better of a book today. Now, there are other books I'm going to write where I won't have a co-author, or maybe I'll have 1 or 2 co-authors, but every book's kind of different. So that was my experience. I'm not sure if that helps you with the way that you're thinking about co-authors for your book.
Okay, so just testing out the back office. I needed to be unmuted again after I got muted. So thanks for sharing. That's really good information. To get a little bit nuanced, you didn't offer people different tiers of credit. It was either co-author or nothing. It wasn't like a co-author and a special thanks and somebody who did research.
There was a special thanks. Let's see, I think it's in the beginning here, or maybe, yeah, it's at the beginning. Like I told people, I offered people, I said, if you help me proofread the book, I'll put your name in the front. So I have this thanks section here, and I put all these names in of people who helped me proofread the book there. And so I have a big thanks section with a lot of names in it. So there was that. That was specifically for people who wanted to help proofread the book.
Okay.
And I think I also sent them all a autographed copy or something.
Now for the co-authors, the people who made it to that tier. So you had 2 tiers. You had a co-author tier and you had a thank you tier.
Yeah.
Did the co-authors get their like contact information in your book? Like to contact?
Yeah, they got a little bio at the back. So I have, now it's not the main, so I've got like the cover, that's just my bio. But if you go a couple of pages back in the book, then I've got this about the author section. And so everybody got a photo and a paragraph about themselves there. And they could put their website and whatever they wanted to put there in that section.
Oh, okay. So that's cool. Yeah, so everybody was clear that this was just name recognition only. There was no revenue sharing or anything like that.
Right.
Okay. Everybody walks, you can't see the setup, but I have a microphone here. I got my iPhone as the webcam here, and I got an extra screen here, and I'm sitting at Chick-fil-A. So a lot of people walk by and just say, this is an awesome setup with the mic and anyway,
everybody wonders what you're doing in Chick-fil-A doing this podcast, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. So, so let me just tell you a little bit about more where I need help, and then maybe if you have any other feedback or ideas. So, now I'm focused on writing that book that we talked about last time, exactly what to say in China. So what I need help mainly with is, of course, proofreading and all that stuff, but I want people who are interested in Chinese business, Chinese language, and Chinese culture to help me come up with the list of situations where people would actually want to know exactly what to say.
Yeah.
And so I would want a group of people maybe reaching out on LinkedIn, talking amongst their friends and trying to connections to just kind of survey what are the top situations where it would have been great if you knew exactly what to say.
Mhm.
That's kind of the main area where I'm currently looking for help. I'm thinking that I should probably engage them more, or maybe you can give me some feedback where they can also add their input, their quotes, and their experiences. What do you think about all that?
Yeah. To me, it sounds like a great opportunity to do like a Google form or something to collect a little questionnaire and then put it out on social media and just say, hey, if you or your friends have ever lived in China, done business in China, please check this out. I would love your comments and you might get your name in my book.
Mm.
And I think that would be a great way to solicit that type of comment and that type of input.
Okay. Did you, when you did those campaigns on LinkedIn, reaching out for co-authors, did you just do a social media post because you had so many followers, or did you DM people?
I don't think I DM'd anybody. I think I stuck with the contacts I already knew, plus social media, plus maybe I sent something out on my email list, but I'm pretty sure that was it.
Okay. All right. Any other advice or comments for what I'm getting ready to embark on?
Well, I love that you've solidified this this focus and the title because it is really catchy and it sounds great. And I wish I would have had it when I lived in China. So I think it's a great idea and I think it's really catchy. So I'm hoping that this all works out great for you.
Okay. Well, all right. So are you going to have one of these next week, or are you going to be off till the holidays, till next year?
Let's see. I'm actually still in town on the 20th. So, I mean, if people want to show up, I will do it. So I'm leaving on the 21st, going to California. But the 20th, I'll still be in town. So I'm going to plan on doing this. I'll send out the email.
Are you going to be in Southern California? You want to connect again?
I will be in Southern California. So I'll be in Arcadia. I'm not sure how much time I'll have to connect. Got my kids with me and visiting with my parents, and I think we're kind of planned out.
Oh, okay.
My parents are getting up there in years, so we're trying to visit them as much as we can these days.
Yeah, well, that's partially the reason we moved back to the US is because, you know, I'm an only child and wanted to spend more time with my parents, which we get to do now.
Yeah.
All right, that was good. That's just wanted to always run that by you. Look, any update on when you're going to bring in more people or the updated workbook or anything like that?
Just next year. I mean, we're practicing here, figuring out the kinks and stuff on the technology, but I think this is working out with the meeting format versus the webinar formats. And I think we'll keep this for a while and we'll see how this goes. And then I've got to get my Facebook lives going every week. Now that I've got, I don't know if you noticed, but I actually have like a good camera now. And so that makes me feel a little more confident about doing Facebook lives and stuff. And so I'm interested in jumping into those a bit more, but I had to clean my office this week and set up all this camera stuff. So I got a bit behind. That's why I didn't get one out this week.
How good is your camera?
It's just an old DSLR camera from a couple of years ago. It's Sony A6500. It's not like a super nice camera. It's a step up from a webcam though.
Okay. Do you have an iPhone?
I don't have an iPhone actually. I have an old Android phone.
Oh, okay. Because the iPhone makes an even better webcam. I'm using an iPhone right now.
Yeah.
And I can even have center stage where it follows me around.
Yeah. Well, it's all about the lens really. So I've got a nice big lens on here. So you notice I get the blurry background and everything popping out. And this camera just picks up lighting and stuff a lot better, I'm noticing. So anyway.
Okay. All right. Well, look forward to seeing more of those Facebook Lives.
Yep. Takes a lot of good camera technology and makeup and lighting to make me look good. So
Yeah, and you can always, like, when you have a group like this, you can always like unmute Catherine and see if she had wanted to add anything to this type of discussion, co-author discussion.
I guess there's an ask everybody to unmute, but yeah, Catherine, did you have anything else you want to share?
No, just a really brief thank you. And I really want to say thanks for hanging in there and doing this, even when there's a very small turnout, that even for a small crew, not speaking of Jean, of course, just myself, that you've done this. And I thank you. It's worth it to me. And I know for you, it's not a big turnout, but I hope you keep this up for a bit because it keeps me on my toes and I've got homework for next week. So I just want to appreciate you doing this when it's a small group.
Well, thank you for showing up because it helps me. I mean, I am trying to practice, so I'm getting something out of this too. When you show up, it helps me to run through the ropes and everything and get used to it. And next year, I really want to start pushing this program again and get new people into it. So I appreciate you showing up so that we can run through this.
Well, it's been to our advantage to be a small group. So thank you for the individual attention, Josh. And thank you, Jean, for your comments as well. And thanks, Haley.
All right. Well, thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Jean. And we'll talk to you next week if you're available and show up next week.
All right.
All right.
Take care, Josh.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Thanks,
you.
Catherine. Bye-bye.